DJ Premier.
Yes.
Thanks for your time, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate you being with us. One of the best yet.
Yes.
Before I get into talking about that, I wanna one of the best yet suggests there's more to come. Now I know you're responsible for naming everything.
No. Guru named No More Mr. Nice Guy, which was our first album. He named Daily Operation, and then when Hard to Earn, he named No More Mr. Nice Guy, Step in the Arena, Daily Operation. Hard to Earn, he told me to name it. Okay. And I was like, I don't know how to name an album, but let me figure it out. And I was like, man, success is very hard to earn. And I was like, what about Hard to Earn? I like the name. He's like, cool, that's it. Moment of Truth I named because Guru was going through a possible 5-year jail sentence. Being he was facing that situation, it was real. The judge, his lawyer told him, if you do blow trial and go to jail, it's going to be around the time of the date that you're supposed to be releasing the album. We had to keep that in mind because we were going to have to figure out how to promote it while he was behind bars. So I was like, man, that's a moment of truth for real, which is why he wrote the lyrics to Moment of Truth. And that's why I sent it in the courthouse. And then even the one where he's just sitting like this in the courtroom by himself, that was all a real scenario. So
Moment of Truth.
Yeah. And then the owners, I just kept saying, oh, man, everybody is renting and leasing their stuff. We own ours. And, he was like, that's what you should call the owners. So that's how that came about. One of the best yet. It's just one of the most dopest lines that actually makes the crowd scream it. Every time we were doing our shows, mainly because in My Steez, the third verse, he says on the microphone, that I'm one of the best yet. And then when we did Full Clip, in 99, it says, do you want to mess with this? Gang Starr, one of the best yet. Every time we perform it, as soon as you say Gang Starr, you point, they go, one of the best yet. So it just always has stuck. And then whenever we would do our outro after our second encore, we would either throw on All for the Cash instrumental, or we'd put on Next Time or one of these beats, and we'd always do the Gang Starr, one of the best yet. And then the Gang Starr, and they would do it again, one of the best yet. And then we do and then Suge, who's one of the founders of Gang Starr, would always go best yet. And we just started saying we're gonna always do that. And then next thing you know, he passes, and when it came to titling this album, it was the most appropriate name.
16 years after the owners.
Yeah.
16 tracks, or maybe 13 tracks, 3 interludes.
12 tracks.
Yeah, 12 tracks.
Yeah.
So I guess, is there anything significant about 16, or is that just coincidence?
No, I didn't even have the interludes in mind, except for the intro. Shout out to DJ Finesse. He's a longtime friend of mine. He was doing a tribute to Guru one day, filling in for me. He's actually filling in for me tonight on my radio show that I do on Sirius XM. I do it on Tuesday nights. It's called Live from Headquarters, and it's on Eminem's channel. Totally uncensored, and we're live. And gotta clear the throat. Let me clear my throat. And
Do you want some water?
he's gonna bring me something. We only break underground raw new hip hop that sounds like more of the boom bap era. Okay. It's my format that I chose. The new trap style sound that's out for the younger kids is fine. My son listens to it. I like certain songs. I enjoy it just to listen to it. I don't enjoy creating it because it's already out there for that generation of kids, and let them have their lane. My lane is the more purest form of just raw beats and hearing lyrical artists spit dope verses, and that's what we represent. And this is material that really is brand new that you can actually find, and we're a capsule for that. So with that in mind, when I was out of town one day in Europe, it was during the anniversary of Guru, and DJ Finesse said, man, I got this medley I did, man, where actually my tour manager, Keebler, who filmed a lot of our final tours, gave him some audio of the song Royalty. And at the end of Royalty, we when it breaks down after the second verse, it's a drum beat, and we always had to make the crowd say, Gang Starr has got to be the short shot, and it's like that, and we make them keep saying it. Yeah, which you can hear it, So he's gave him that audio, and I was like, well, "What are you gonna do with it?" And he said, "I'm gonna show you." And then he started doing everything live. And the crazy thing is, he actually just posted it. Yeah. And since we're filming it, it even makes it more appropriate. He actually did it live. And when I saw that, the first thing I said is, "Damn, I gotta do some type of cool intro to the album."
Right.
And I thought about that, and I said, "You know what? I want to do it." So I said, "Bring me the audio the way you had it, and then I'm gonna do it." Look, this is actually when he did it the first time. All right. Live. Now watch, he's not gonna hit it every time. He's gonna miss it a couple times. So he repeated it again. So I saw that and was like, "Yo." So shout to him.
So you're still being inspired, right?
Yeah, and see, some of it was a little off, but he's doing it live. Well, mostly the voice. I didn't do that one.
We're gonna get into after we go through all the tracks. The mind of a DJ, because I've heard you talk about the mind of a DJ quite often.
Yeah.
You made some interesting points in regards to the memory and just how you consume music as a fan and just somebody who's looking at it with a critical eye. So I'm guessing from your perspective, the DJ perspective is very unique in terms of how it interprets music. Before we get onto that though, let's run through the whole of one of the best. Yeah.
Okay.
You started with the intro already, so you've kind of explained.
You saw that was the first time he actually did it, and you saw it straight from the Instagram. So shout out to DJ Vanessa. He's had his first baby. You know what I'm saying? Just not even 2 weeks ago, and he's just in love.
Life is good.
Yeah.
Life is good. Life is good. Lights Out, featuring MLP.
Yeah. Lights Out. Well, I got a bigger. This is something we just discovered because of me buying the tracks from his former business partner. I figured if anybody comes out the woodworks, we're gonna find out when these songs come out, because when I bought the tracks from him, I wanted to make sure there was stuff I wasn't familiar with. If I was familiar with it, I didn't want it. Never heard Lights Out. Guru had a side label that he created way before I even started a label called Ill Kid Records. Everybody knew his moniker was Ballhead Slick, Keith the Guru, Ill Kid. He did a song that Master Ace produced. Come to find out after the album comes out, shout to Aguilar as well. Aguilar wrote the hook. The Lights Out, I told y'all, this is the one. All y'all, now if you know Aguilar, it sounds like Aguilar. This is new discovery, so y'all are getting it first. And this is really first. Aguilar,
Exclusive.
Yeah, it happened in 2000. We didn't know that guy then. So Aguilar hit me up and said, "Yo, man, I did that with Guru and these other guys, and Master Ace did the beat. I taught Master Ace how to make beats on the sampler that I used to make beats years ago, because where I used to live, Master Ace threw a cookout, and we went to his house." And I was like, "Man, I like this neighborhood." This is way before GPS. And I ended up going to the party, and I was like, "Man, I'd like to move over here." He hooked me up with his agent. Wow. I ended up being his neighbor.
Truly inspired then.
Yeah. So we're longtime friends. Ace and I know he started making beats from that point. I didn't know he made the original, even though the other guy claims that he did. No way. Ace made it. I'll even show you. we got.
There's content. There's footage.
Yeah. This is one of the. You're getting all the actual factuals. Now dig this. What did that say? Yeah. These are all new discoveries. Thanks to Aguilar for that. Look who produced. It says Lights Out, right?
Feature Baldhead Slick.
Yeah.
Aguilar, Lotta, and Preach.
And who's produced by?
Produced by Master Ace.
This is in 2000. Okay. Didn't I just found this out?
Okay.
Now again, but I had never heard it before. And they made. I think Aguilar said the guy. He reached out to the guy. He said that I think he made only 100 copies of vinyl, so it didn't really circulate.
Like a white label.
Yeah. So it didn't really circulate. So But prior to me knowing that, when I heard Guru shouting like that, Guru knows I don't like when he does that because I've always been so involved in so many recordings. He knows he knows the tone I like. So I was like, I liked what he's saying lyrically, and I said if he's gonna be in that type of an attitude, MOP is the perfect people to reach out to. Call Bill and Fame, shout to Lays, and they said we're gonna come up. We filmed the making of the album. We're working on a documentary right now of our whole career.
Be sure to send the Voice newspaper some snippets.
Absolutely. And if you've been keeping up with my Instagram, and plus we just started the official Gang Starr Instagram, we got the name back. That we've been posting little clips of live, just everything, interviews, live stuff, everything. That's from documenting our whole career, and we finally digitized all these tapes, and we're like, oh man, look at that, oh man, pull that, oh wow, look at that, pull that, oh look.
They're gonna have hours. They're gonna have hours.
Over 1,000 hours.
Wow.
We're not. We have over 100 tapes, and we go all the way back to 1989. I got Tribe Called Quest, Queen Latifah, back in '89 before we even met them. That like we performed together during a new music seminar. So we're getting all this stuff dumped and digitized, and it's a lot to do, and we're discovering all this stuff. So through that, that's the reason why we said the making of the album, which we were going to do a piece to go along with this album. We were like, you know what? J. Cole said, nah, put it all together. The making of with your old stuff, and because I was going to do a separate thing, and so I'm following J. Cole on that, and we're going to put it all as one full documentary from the old to the making of it. So MOP came by, their family, their extended family of Gang Starr Foundation, their first family for life, and we started just working on it, and they go fast anyway, and they're used to the vibe, and yeah, they knew. It just turned into just a lot of fun, and they come with the whole crew, and it was like a family reunion, man. We had a great time, just laughing and just reminiscing, talking about Guru and all the crazy stuff he used to do, and it was dope.
You mentioned J. Cole. You followed him a couple of times with regards to this project because Bad Name, the second release single, was meant to be the first.
Right.
He convinced you to do something different.
Yeah.
So before we go into that, talk about Bad Name, and I've heard a little bit about the fact that you already had the video in your mind.
Right. Yeah, the video. I figured when we come out, Bad Name sounds like a typical Gang Starr record. We've always dropped out just straight street diehard fans, single first. You know my steez, full clip. Just to get a rep. Skills. Those types of records are always first. Then the second we go for radio. We might do, Casey and JoJo Royalty. We'll do X Girl and X Girl. We'll do those types of records. Discipline. With Total. That's always the second because usually the label gives you 3 singles. So and then we go back to another just dope record off the album, and that's the third single. So being that I want to still follow that map, and actually that's because Cole asked me, how did y'all do your rollout back in the 90s? Right. I told him, and he said, do that still. Okay, cool. He said, I'm really into this whole marketing, and I missed that era, and I just want to know how y'all did it. He said, that's going to work for you. So when it came to coming out the box, I was like, you know what? I don't, Guru's son, shout to KC, he doesn't rap or anything like that. He's really into the fashion world heavy. So I was like, would you be down to play your dad just in one video? No more. I'm not going to use him in every video acting like he's his dad. He's like, yeah, I'll do it. So already I was like, man, having him imitate his father, and he had the dreads and everything at the time. He grew him out for 2 years. I was like, well, you might have to cut your dreads. He said, I'll cut them. He said, for my dad, I'll do whatever's needed to make it come off. So I already envisioned, and the Spice Adams, who's a former NFL player for the San Francisco 49ers and the Chicago Bears, he's become a viral sensation on his Instagram page, and everybody loves all the characters he plays, and one of them is Old Head with the Bluetooth, TOOF. And the old timers do have a little Bluetooth on the ear, and they would say that these people we can relate to in our neighborhood. So I said I want him to put a little comedy in it to make it fun. And I DM'd him and told him, I love you, what you're doing. He was like, man, I'm a big fan too. I said, man, would you be down to be in a video for Gang Starr? He said, y'all got something new, and I explained it to him. sent him the song. He was like, "Oh my God, yeah, I'm in it. Tell me when." And I was like, "Soon, a couple months." Then that turned into, "Hey man, we got to wait a minute." But I didn't have a concept for family and loyalty because I just hadn't. I said we got enough time to figure one out. You know, with family and loyalty, I had to make an emergency phone call to Fab Five Freddy because we wanted Jonah Hill to do it because I had just seen the Travis Scott video that he had shot, and I thought it was very creative and different. And Jonah Hill's a big fan of Gang Starr, and he knows our music deeply, not just a couple singles. He knows us. So, and I've done work for him in the past. So the creativity side had to be very, very important. And now we're down to less than almost a week and a half to come up with something. Now that Cole asked us to switch it to go with his, and I don't have anybody to direct it because I still don't have a concept. I was like, man, I'm gonna call Fab Five Freddy. I haven't talked to him in years. Maybe he did a great job with Just to Get a Rep. Maybe he can help me. I said, dogs, I have an emergency. As soon as you say Gang Starr, they're like, Gang Starr? Yeah, I'm in. What's the name of the song? I said, well, it features J. Cole. J. Cole, oh, I'm in. Obviously that's, oh, yeah, I'm in. Send it to me. I texted it to him. He was like, yo, man, I don't like that all that the way Guru died with all this controversy and that will. I don't believe that. I said, yeah, I said it wasn't real. And he said, how about we reenact the will to the right way? And he said, you think his son would be in the video? I was like, well, to do what? Because, again, I had already thought of him doing Bad Name. He said, no, not to rap or nothing, just to be the one being presented with the will since is he in charge of the estate? And I'm like, yeah, he is. He's the only child he has. So he said, would you like to do that? I called his son and said, are you with it? And then I called Guru's sister, Patricia, and asked her if she cool with it. And they were like, yo, we love the idea. Freddie wrote the treatment. I told him my vision of going back to archive footage and just kind of blending it all together. I said I got videos of his son when he was young, and stuff like that with his mom and everything. He said, cool, send me all of that and let me just think. And I'll get on top of it. Told Cole the deal. He said, I'm coming back from vacation. I only have a day to be able to shoot. Can you come to North Carolina? I said, I'll go wherever you are, just as long as we can shoot the video. And we went to North Carolina and shot his first. And then we came back to New York to Harlem and did all the rest of it. And it turned out to be a great turnaround. And then the intro footage is from our archive stuff that we just happened to see of him getting off the tour bus, you know what I'm saying? And we gave it to Freddie. We gave him tons of different things, but that's what he chose. And when I saw that, he said, this is how the video is going to start. And we were emotional, man. Just like, wow, we remember those days.
So many blessed moments already. And I've heard about the incense and the little ritual that you had over certain tracks. We'll get to that. Hit 'em Up though, featuring Q-Tip.
Oh, Hit Me
and Hit Me Up. So you've spoken about people getting involved in this project. Was it the same for everybody? Like literally, Gang Starr, of course I'm in.
Oh, absolutely.
Was that the
vibe? I had reached out to Nas. He couldn't do it at the time that we needed him. I actually wanted him on Bad Name to be the second verse. And when he couldn't do it during the time frame, I was like, you know what? If Nas can't do it, I'm just not putting anybody on it. I'm just going to just let it be. It's short, but it goes from the scratch intro to him doing his verse to back to that hook and then riding it out with the scratch and just let it ride. I said, I'm confident with it just being like it is. Right. And so I said, leave it, But Nas was my go-to, and he was totally into it, like, oh, my God, you know what I'm saying? But it happens, we're still good, Shout to Nasty Nas.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice to have him on it. But you've got a good few people on here who are my favourites as well. Lots of people's favourites, I can imagine. And you didn't answer that question about is there more to come. I'm going to come back to that,
Okay.
Hitman, so yeah.
Hitman is one of my favorites. I could not come up with a beat for it, and then I finally came out with just the boom, boom. That's all I had. But the way that Guru's comes on, I actually had it where it was literally starting with just a snare, and then the beat came on. So originally it just said, pop, he got the eyes and the heart. I mean, it like just right in. And I was like, somehow I'm going to complete this one. And then later on, I just started looking for sounds, and I found that sample with the ding, flew that in, and I was like, yo, this is connecting. The more I heard it, I was like, man, I love it. And there were people I talked to, and me and Q-Tip go way back. We're longtime friends. They're like, man, you ain't gonna get tip on there. He's meticulous. He's not gonna. I doubt.
You're meticulous.
Yeah.
It's too meticulous.
But they're like, I doubt if you get that. I got a few. I doubt if you get that. The tip they were talking about you. I hit him up. I said, man, I'd love to get you on this Gang Starr joint. He said, man, I just had a minor throat surgery, and he sounded like it with a scratchy throat. He's like, so I got to kind of take it easy. When do you need it? I said, right away. And he said, well, let me hear it. And I said, well, what's it about? I said, it's about a hitman and his life, what he goes through before he does the hit. And he's describing him. He said, well, send it to me. Send it to him. He said, yo, man, honestly, you don't need me on it. I said, bullshit. And he said, and plus my throat. He said, you know what, but when my throat's scratchy like this, it might be kind of dope to rap it, because he said, this beat is kind of grimy. Yeah. He said, let me record a hook. And he said, because I can't write no verse. I said, I don't want a verse. I just need a hook to tie it together. He said, I'm going to, I had to tell you what, matter of fact, Q-Tip did it to me. Now I'm going to do it to him. So, so we're gonna this is all real, first time all this stuff going on. So I told him, yo, he said, I'm gonna send you a video, and if you like it, then I'll send you the vocals over. This is at his studio. That's the video. And he said, I'm not showing my face, but and even kind of stumbles on a word the second time he repeats it, and he said, just don't use that. He said, yeah, I know you're going to cut it up the right way, and this is it. This is what he sent me to make sure I liked it. Got the bag pop, I got the ding ding, it's in the sling, here it is, baby, let it ring. Got the bag pop, I got the ding ding, yeah, it's here to sling. Let it ring. I got potatoes and the mufflers and the whole thing. With the bucking out niggas' wigs while he's puffing on cigs, lay him down. And he sent that. I said, that's it. Just sending me the vocals. I'll tighten it up. Yeah. You know, you see, it's got a little bit off.
No, it's cool. I mean, listen, it's classic cute. It's classic cute.
Sent me. That's what he sent me.
That's with his throat, not 100%.
Like, But even him doing the gunshots, I was like, that's it. And I said, I'll fit it in. And he goes, he said, just don't do the messed up one. I'm like, I'm not. I got you. And so the one where he kind of slurred, and again, you can tell his voice is a little, but he did it. And that's my second favorite of the entire album, because Bad Name for some reason just grabbed me. It just sounds so Gang Starr, and then Hitman is that's just drive.
And you got them right next to each other. Right?
Yeah, man, purposely.
What's real?
Which is another discovery of someone coming out to speak on that one, but that's being dealt with. Another one I never heard before at the time. That one, Royce, the 5'9", we were rehearsing to go on tour for Prime 2. He's in town. We were just putting together the show. I told him, but I didn't tell anybody about the album because we were keeping it secret. I told him, and he was like, yo, you're doing a Gang Starr album? Like, how deep are y'all in there? I said, well, I got like 2 or 3 songs. He said, let me hear them. Yeah. Played them those, and I said, man, I got this one I'm starting to work on, because I just did the beat to it, and I played it for him, and he was like, yo, you want me to write something to that? I'm like, are you down? Cool. He started writing it, and we filmed it, which I have footage of that too.
Got a lot of footage, man.
What's that?
You got a lot of footage.
Got footage, man. And so for that, I told when he said I'll send this group home like Malachi the Nutcracker. I said, damn, that'd be cool. That's what made me think of group home when he said it in the lines. It wasn't. I intended on getting them on something, because I said it'd be good to reunite everybody, but not specifically that song. And then when I thought about it, I was like, damn, man. Then my father passed away, so I took about 2 months to not do anything, just get my family straight, get my mom straight, without her husband being there.
Get yourself straight.
Yeah, myself straight. But one day I was just sitting there by myself. My sisters and everybody else had already left the house. My mom was running. They were running around with my mom. No one's at the house. I'm just sitting there all by myself, just thinking. And for some reason, that song came back to my head. And I started just sitting there, just vibing to it. I started going certified street poetry, and the guy, yeah. So now just because we always bug out and just freestyle on the bus and stuff. Even when we in the house together, just be and I'm thinking about group home because of Royce, and then Malachi is the Nutcracker is the type that would say "Gang Starr, motherfucker, we live," because that's him. I know the attitude. And I was like, you know what? Let me voice record this thing. Y'all are getting the exclusives, man.
Yeah, put it
I
out.
said, I'm not. No one's gotten these interviews. I said, let me voice record it, and maybe I could. Let's see. So I started just referencing it. This is me. I don't rhyme, bro. This is me. Certified street poetry in the game a long time, so you know it's me, nigga. Gang Starr, motherfucker, we live.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't forget it, you know.
It's the beauty of.
I didn't know. I didn't have the foundation. Yo, we presidential. I said I'll figure it out later, but it's something to start with.
You had it
I called them and said, "Yo, y'all want to come up? We're doing this." I said, "I wrote the hook. You know, it's not to slight that you writing your own rhymes. Plus, I didn't want a verse. Just wanted a hook." And I said, "Are y'all opposed to doing it if I lay the hook down?" They said, "No, we'll do it." And so I laid it down. We filmed me laying it down and imitating Dap, being funny. Shout to Dap and Malachi, and they did it. You know, so. You know, my first rhyme.
Your first time on the mic.
There it is, and that's from sitting all alone, just like this, just,
Being in the moment.
yeah, and just like, man, I gotta get this album done. So this is my first time coming back to work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was going back the next day, and I said, you know what, we need to add on to this, and that's where we continued. So
Powerful moments.
yeah,
Throughout this album.
yeah.
Powerful moments. Get Together. Talk about that with Neil.
Man, I love that record. That's if you have my top three, it's Bad Name.
Yeah.
That man, we always do what Guru calls chick records on every album. There's always one for the ladies. And that when I heard him, you know, with the whole at first it was called Yo Mommy, because you know, just the way he's like, you know. There was a skit like prior to it. He's talking Yo Mommy, this such and such and such. And I was like, man, should I call it Yo Mommy? And I was like, I don't really want to call it that.
No, I think you done the right thing.
But when it comes to Latino and Spanish language, you know, sometimes they say mommy or mamacita or whatever. So I said that's a temporary title, so it was Yo Mommy. And then I wanted Anderson .Paak to do a hook, and it came close, because I knew he could get into that world. He knows how to put the soul into it, and we've already worked together, and we became good friends. He was on a major tour, and he's like, man, I'll do my best to do it in one of my hotels, but it's really
He must have been pissed off. He's a real music man.
And because even when I saw him, I said, man, I still didn't even have somebody yet, and then so from there. I was gonna get another MC, another male rapper, to also join Guru and kicking it to a girl, like another perspective of, you know, hey, let me woo you, or you know, I know he said this, but let me say that, because I'm still just figuring it out. And I was like, you know what, maybe it's better to get a female to reply. And I was like, who could speak a little Spanish? I thought about Hurricane G, but I didn't know how to reach her. You know, I could have maybe reached out to Redman. And I was like, you know what, Nitty Scott just did a project called No Panty with Bodega Bams, Joel Ortiz, and Salam Remy produced the project. I was like, she speaks Spanish. I reached out to her. She was like, yo, I'm totally with it. Sent it to her. She was on tour as well. She said, I'm going to do it in my hotel. As soon as I find a spot where I can record, or I'm going to catch a studio where I can do it. She sent it back to me. I was like, that's it. Now I'm like, damn, I still need Anderson .Paak. Who's somebody on the level that could do it and totally get it? And I went to a birthday party that my son went to, and we used to have mutual friends that were there. And one of my mutual friends used to work with Neo, but he also works with Cardi B. So he was on the road. No, he had a couple days off before he went back out with Cardi. And I remember he worked with Neo for a long time. I was like, yo, man, I said, I'm doing a new album and whatever. I said, yo, I need a hook. He said, why don't you get Neo on it? And I was like, do you think he'll do it? You know, Neo's so big. He's such a big artist. to us and everything. We met even before he became famous, but still, he's a high profile artist. I know how schedules are. I know how my schedule is when I can't do stuff. So he said, "Yo, let's call him right now." At the birthday party, we stepped aside while the kids played, and next thing you know, he's like, "For Gang Starr," and then that's the thing I love. As soon as you're like, "For Gang Starr," it's he said, "This is stuff that were you remixing like with some of your old stuff?" I'm like, "No, this has never been heard." And he's like, "Oh, send it to me." Send it to him. He did it right away. Sent it right back. Because I told him, I explained the concept of Spanish and everything. He said, "Well, I don't speak Spanish." I was like, you don't have to. Just do a dope hook, tying it in. And then he did a little Spanish and then said, "Sorry, that's as far as my Spanish goes." It's almost like it was like comedy.
Perfect though.
But it was dope. And then he just did everything. It just tied it all together. And then I was like, you know what? Guru says, let's see if me and you can blend together. I said, I don't want to call it blend together. I'm going to just call it get together. And I changed the name.
Beautiful thing. So many rappers.
So many rappers. Originally, I gave to J. Cole, but it was a totally different beat.
Oh, so that's the track that you want. Right, that's the track.
I have the original beat. It was a piano beat. Y'all are getting exclusive. Let me see if I still have it. It was a piano beat, and I sent it to Cole. And as soon as I sent it, I was like, you know what? I shouldn't have sent that because he let me get the acapellas to 1995, and let me just do a remix just for fun for the DJs and everything. And this is let's see all attachments. No, this all family and loyalty. But I think I could, if I type so many rappers, the old version will pop up. So let me see. So many rappers. Oops, rappers. So many rappers. Let's see. This might be it.
Is that the one?
Might be. No, but this is. Oh yeah, because this is October last year.
Right.
So this one was a piano. I was still just figuring it out. You know, the one that's on the album is a remix. I totally say, you know what, I gotta do something else to it. But I told Cole I shouldn't have given you this because the subject matter is too similar to 1995. Right. He was like, "Bro, I just was about to text you and tell you that that's not where I want to go with that. Give me something else when you find another song. Just reach out to me. I'm down." So this might be the original.
So many rappers have come and gone. I guess this rap game has really done them
Actually,
wrong.
this is it.
So many rappers trying to get rappers made this their dream. Then quickly, most have disappeared from the scene. So many one-hit wonders. It's like a spin of the wheel. You know what?
I thought that was the beat. I don't know if this is it. No, because this is January, so this might not be it either.
So many rappers have most have stamina and they don't talk like this.
Nah.
Stay consistent.
Damn, I thought I had it, but but you know what? I did. You know what? I did current mailbox. Okay, I didn't put all, so maybe it's this one. It just says okay. This because I put East Coast. This is a Gang Starr joint called So Many Rappers. I want you to do a second verse. This is the original. Yeah. See, we find.
I mean, you're organized.
Yeah. So this was the original. Might put this out later.
Hey, listen.
We'll remix this on.
Hey, don't let this one go.
So.
Many rappers made this their dream. Then quickly, most have disappeared from the scene. So many one-hit wonders. It's like a spin of the wheel. You know I stay consistent and get it in for real. Yeah. So many rappers want to rock like this, but they got no.
So how long before?
Yeah, so
how long?
What I made first.
Yeah, no. So how long after you made that was the decision to change tact or not?
It just wasn't.
Yeah, it didn't feel. It
was just, other songs were done. Bless the Mic was the first song I did.
And I heard about how you pulled that together. Yeah. So that was like almost a spiritual awakening of this whole journey, right?
It was like.
I mean, you're here now to talk about it.
Like literally. here we go. And then the prayer, the blessing, and I just said, let me just start with that. And once I got that vibe, then it transitioned into Bad Name was second. Then I said Family and Loyalty was third, but it was that. It was so many rappers. And then Family and Loyalty. But when I did Family and Loyalty, I didn't send it to Cole for a long time, for months. You know what I'm saying? I was still just
Working
figuring
it out.
Yeah.
You said Bless the Mic was first, but it's the last track.
Yeah. It was so
Irony.
crazy is the Sure Shot intro is Gang Starr's Got to Be the Sure Shot, and Bless the Mic, I'm scratching Gang Starr's Got to Be the Sure Shot from Greg Nice on Dwick at the end. It's almost like it came back around, and that wasn't intentional. It's just after listening, it's like, yo.
That's like really completing the circle. That's like a real spiritual journey in Africa.
And me and Keebler was just like, yo, do you just realize you started with the Sure Shot intro, Gang Starr's Got to Be the Sure Shot, and then you closed it out, Gang Starr's Got to Be the Sure Shot, Sure Shot. I love the way it just fades out. It reminds me of the old Step in the Arena era. And it's just, in my old jazzier style that I haven't done in a long time, it was like, wow, man, this shit is really, really heavy.
So, DJ Premier, is it business or art?
Business or art is, I like a lot because that
Track 12 for those who ain't
that
there.
beat, sinister, the boom, 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 that's me.
Anger.
Yeah, that's what I like, because that I have anger from time to time, and I'll put it into a beat, and I like just that, you know, like they said, if you ain't making this face like a stink, it's not funky, and that's boom, 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 you know. So Kweli wasn't even a thought of mine. We were talking about, he said, would you be down to do a Black Star show with us where you would DJ for me and Mos Def, Yasin Bey? And I said, yeah, I mean, if everything lines up, yeah. And he said, all right, let me get back to you. Maybe we do a string of shows. Cool, which we're actually doing one next week in Colorado. So he, you know, he's like, what you working on? I was like,
Can I tell it?
working on a Gang Starr album. He said, oh man, he said, let me know if you need me. I said, man, I don't really have anything that would fit. I said, I have this slow beat I'm working on right now, literally right while I'm sitting in front of the board. He's like, man, I don't care if it's slow. I said, well, you know, you usually have a medium tempo that you flow to. He said, nah, it don't matter. What's it called? I said, right now it's called Business or Art, because he says it in the hook. I don't know if that's going to be the name, but right now it's called Business or Art, and just because of what he says in the hook. He said, yo, send it to me. He said, I'm in Spain right now. Maybe I can do it in my room. Everybody's in their hotel rooms on the road.
It's a beautiful thing that we can work around the world, right?
Yeah. And he's like, maybe I can throw it right back to you. He'd have a day off tomorrow. All right, sent it to him. He's like, yo, this is mean. He said, I can mess with it, Preem. Can I send you something back? I was like, yeah. Send me that verse. I was like, that's it. Now, when he said hip hop, homie, that's our lane, it's Gang Starr with the Black Star Gang, we bang bang. I said, yo, let's get Mos on it. He was like, that's, you know, Mos is all over the place. Y'all seen, all due respect, I know that's his new name. I went over and 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 over to get him. Couldn't get him. I was like, you know what, it's actually good like it is. But I am holding you to doing an extended version, Business or Art. I don't know if I'm gonna call it the extension or something. And I need that verse, Yasin, and I'm getting that verse. You see the fist? I'm getting that verse. Somehow I need that verse, because it's dope that he said it's Gang Starr with the Black Star Gang. You know, that's rare, and you know, we have a long time connection from management to label mates to me doing mathematics on his Black on Both Sides album. So it's like, I need one to return. And the Craig David remix of 7 Days, he was on that too. Now give me that verse, Yasin. You know what I'm saying? So
You heard it here, Yasin.
let's hope that happens.
Literally, bring it back here.
Bring It Back Here was the only verse that I knew the lyrics back before I purchased all the vocals from his partner.
So that was the only track you knew.
Because when but we never did it to a beat. Every gig, he always does that in between before we drop another song. So he'll just do it a cappella. Don't waste my whole life on loop of money. So, you know, so I'm used to that. And then he'll go, you know, because I'm a real racketeer, get my money and bring it back here. And everybody goes, oh, and I just throw on another song. So never to a beat. So when I heard he did it to, you know, just the track that was previously on there, I was like, yeah, I'll put a. It's pretty fast, so I said let me go back to the up tempo style and just see if it works. And I said it's actually 2 verses, but I was like, you know what? For where the album's shaping, because I could start hearing the album. It starts like this, and I needed to go into a full circle. It was starting to come to a circle. I said it's better to just be short and just cut it off, and that's what I did.
Last track that we ain't spoke about is Take Flight. Talk about that, man.
I had to figure out how to do another Militia. It's tradition. He's not Bumpy Knuckles when he does that. He's Freddie Fox. He even said that I'm Freddie Fox on Gang Starr. I'm not Bumpy Knuckles. And I was like, what vocal do I find out of Grooves, the vocals that I bought, that'll sound like a Militia verse? It's got to be intense. It's got to be like, I'm coming with my guns too. And I found
Gotta sound like the Militia.
Yeah. So because I know what they're gonna do once they write, and I just started. All I had was just the and I was like, scrap that. So I scrapped that. Then later on, I found the mysterious part, and then I was like, you know what? When he says "Rhymes Take Flight," I didn't even know that was on the track. It was muted, and I just didn't pay attention because I was still messing around with organizing it. When I heard, I was like, oh damn, this is a track I didn't turn on. Rhymes Take Flight. I was like, oh wow, I like the way he's kind of introing that. Let me put that other beginning part back in. Played it. I was like, it sounds good with that. Let me see how it sounds when I flip it. And then it goes into the mysterious part. And then I was like, that's where I'm going to mark it, where Suge should come in first. And then I'll bring it back to that again and keep flip-flopping it. And then Suge said, I'll come up tomorrow. He came, he drove up. He was like, he's already got mine. I wrote mine without the music. I was like, really? I said, you sure it's going to fit? He said, oh, yeah, I'm going to make it fit. And he did it right then and there. And Bump, Freddie Fox, he's just, you already know he's going to destroy whatever. So yeah, you just sit there and just watch, So it came out and it sounds like another Militia. You know what I'm saying? And I remember, shout out to Sarah Honda, who used to work on our staff. She said, are y'all gonna do another Militia? I said, I plan on it. I gotta find a verse that sounds Militia worthy from Groove's verses. She goes, it wouldn't be part 3, it'd be part 4. I was like, I know, Sarah, because she's that close and part of the Gang Starr family. And she was like, it'd be part 4, not part 3. I'm like, yeah, because part 3 was on the Owners, because the remix that we did with Pete Rock and the one I did with Rakim and Dub C, where it was part 2. So, I said, I don't have to be reminded, but, it's just me joking around with her. Shout out to Sarah Honda. And, yeah, part 4, man. And a lot of people are liking that record. A lot of DJs are cutting it up. I just seen the guy, my man, in Atlanta, was just cutting it up, and he sent it to me, and I just posted it with him cutting the beginning of the song. Right here. Even before that. Yeah. But that's dope. That DJs are killing it. Yeah. So yeah.
I mean, talk about that. I mean, the DJ, the respect in the DJ world that you have, and the respect for DJs that you have, and just that whole DJ bird's eye view.
Yeah.
That is maybe slightly different to just being a fan, just being a producer, just being an artist.
Is that 5 minutes?
All right, brilliant. Thanks.
For me, it's just from studying all the DJs that came before me on a professional level. Seeing, for one, I got to shout out R.P. Cola. His name is Randy Pettis. He's the one that taught me how to scratch when I was going to college in Prairie View, Texas. I'll always have a special place in my heart for him because of that. And he's just such a major part of my life, because from there I took it to another level and became what I became. I knew how I wanted to interpret it if I was given the opportunity to do it, and I took advantage of it by practicing and just getting better and better and being creative. and that's a DJ's job. You know, from my upbringing, you know, when I was young, my mom always had the names on the records. Don't touch my albums, you know. And if you hold the record, you better touch the sides. If I see a fingerprint on it, I'm gonna whip your ass. Like that was the rules, you know, back then. Better not see no fingerprints, you know, and you know, don't touch it from the top. You know, now we rubbing records and looking at our fingers and
Straight disrespect on the record.
you know what I'm saying? And just that whole thing. Even when my sisters them going to house parties and they'd be like, you can go, but you gotta stay in you can play the records. And I was like, man, you know, you putting them in a certain order, and everybody's hearing the hot jams and dancing to it, and that's even a mind state, knowing how to just say this was the next record I'm gonna play. This is the next record I'm gonna play. Just because you have the hot records doesn't mean you're flowing right to rock the party. That's a feeling and just an inside knowledge that you just know based off of your skill level. And I always hold myself to wanting to be known for high level skills, because my father was very high level respect in our neighborhood. My mom was very high level respect in the neighborhood. I want that same type of respect and be talked about the same way. And that's how I apply myself now. And DJs from the hip hop era, we memorize everything because we cut a lot and we like to catch lines, and battle DJs like to go, you're a sucker and you can't do such and such. You want to battle me? I dare you. And you know, and where you gonna get that from? You gotta know people that may have said that in the rap, you know, or even from commercials, or battle me, then how I dare you, you know. That's even knowing lines, you know. So we have a very good memory bank when it comes to that, and I still apply that to this very day. And actually, everything I started to scratch from seeing Jam Master Jay and seeing even Cut Creator and, you know, Terminator X and you know, Big Smash Ice from UTFO and all these people, you know, Grandmaster D when I was at the Fresh Fest, Chill Will and Barry B with Dougie Fresh and Get Fresh crew. I was like, yo, the things they cut, even, you know, I was like, I want to be creative like that, where they go, damn, look at what Premier's cutting, and that still reigns, where I want the DJ to be open off of what I cut, even if MCs don't catch to it on that level, which we welcome everybody to, but I always do it so the DJ will go, oh, Preem cut that, or damn, look how he broke it up, you know. You know, money's growing like grass with the mask bill. Money's growing like grass. You know, like just breaking it down and showing that you're skilled and still nice with what you came with to cut up. So all that still applies.
Legacy, I guess this is part of it. One of the best yet. Next couple of years, what does it look like? How do you tour this? What we got up your sleeve?
We're figuring that out now. I'm not into no hologram. I'm totally against that. What I'm thinking about is you have all these devices now that can extract the vocal and take the music out. I have a tight band called the Batter Band. We toured a few years back to back and became very successful with our tours. They on the drop of a dime, they can just switch up and just do whatever, even songs they haven't even rehearsed with me live on stage, they can just do it. So what we're thinking, and again, it's still in the thoughts, but we're thinking if I did it, we have so much live footage from so many shows that I thank goodness I have the tapes, and where he's wearing different clothes, different audiences, maybe extract his voice and still use the footage, but being that the audio would be extracted, and we've done so many encores of rare songs as well in different countries with different clothes, different venues. We could you know, now with the new technology, I could sync up his voice, and he'll be on a big screen when his verse comes on, and literally do it. He's literally doing it. So it's not just him walking around and we're just cutting up pictures of him on stage. He's literally doing it.
Sounds like a great vision.
Because I can control it from the even if I put it on a CDJ to just designate his voice to that, while I do all this other stuff on the turntables, I can still control the timing to where when I release it, which I'm going to be fine with that, he's going to be in sync, and you're going to see him literally going such with the rhyme. But the music background that I played at that show won't be there, because we you know, like I said, there's devices now that can pull all that out, where the vocal would just be the prominent thing, and you literally see him doing it. And the next one, he might be in a different place with different hat, different clothes, and it's really him. doing, and we have so many different shows of doing those same songs, so we can mix it all up. So that's our plan. We're working.
Good luck, man. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Like flawless. If I can get it flawless, then we'll go out and do that.